Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. If you have even a moderate sized landscape, you're going to end up doing a lot of pruning. And as that landscape matures, those branches are going to get bigger and bigger, and sooner or later, you're going to have to invest in a lopping shear. Well, we're going to review the Fiskars Power Gear 2. What about the price for this? The value you get? Is it serviceable? Will it last? Stay tuned and we'll let you know if this is the right lopper for you. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. Thanks for joining us today. In this episode today, we're going to review the Fiskars Power Gear 2 Lopping Shear. Now, this is the product card that came with the lopping shear when we bought it. And as you can see, it makes some claims on there such as 3 times more cutting power. It talks about titanium. And then down here it says for cutting up to 2 inches of branches. Well, that is true. All of those items are accurate, but we need to tell you what that means. When you look down at one of these types of lopping shears, you can see that this is a compound type of lopping shear. There is a gear, and when you open this, there is a double fulcrum that forms here, and there's a lot of leverage that is applied through the handle system to the cutting area right here. And when they say that it cuts 3 times more, what they're saying is 3 times more powerful than a non-compound type. So if you have a single bolt type of lopping shear, you won't have the same amount of leverage applied when you operate the handles, and it takes a lot more muscle power to get a cut through a branch, especially something that's drier or large diameter. All this cutting power comes at a price though. To get all of that force concentrated right here in the cutting area and the bottom hook and the bypass cutter right here, you have to move the handles a wide distance. So to get this to open to 2 inches of cutting, I've got to have those handles all the way out almost 180 degrees. Now, that means, as you can see, when you go to cut up in trees, you have to kind of figure out a path where you can get the handles to swing clearly and you're not colliding with other branches. And when you're cutting in a congested tree like this one, then you've really got to think through which way you're going to approach the cut so that you don't jam up against the tree and you can complete the cut cleanly. Now, as you get longer into the pruning job, and the job gets less congested, then that's not so much of an issue. But initially, when you're working to do, let's say, rehabilitation on an overgrown tree or something that's been neglected for some time, that is an issue you want to take into account. Now, there are a couple of different kinds of pruners that are most commonly found in the market. What you're looking at right here is called a bypass pruner. Why is that called a bypass? Well, it's very scissors-like. Your cutting blade right here, which is very sharp, so I got to be careful right there, comes across a cutting surface, much like a scissor does, that is almost perpendicular, and this creates a very sharp cutting plane right there. So it's very scissors-like, again, called bypass. The different type, called an anvil, is where the blade, let's call my hand the blade, and this is the sharp edge, comes down on a flat plate that has a little groove in it, and that's called an anvil cutter. So the cutter comes down, and in some cases it works really well, but it's more prone to smashing the cut or leaving a ragged cut on the tree. What's the advantage? Well, they don't tend to gum up as much with the material, and they clear themselves faster, but most people use bypass types. Now, there's something else I want you to notice on this. The claim card said titanium, and you can see right on this blade assembly here, it says titanium. That is a titanium coating. This is not an entirely through and through titanium piece of metal. It is coated with titanium for a couple of reasons. One, it makes the metal a little bit more slippery, so as it cuts, it runs nicer for a longer period of time. It also does not gum up as readily. Things don't stick to it as much. and it holds a nice edge when you sharpen on the back edge. And you always sharpen on the flat side, not on the beveled sides. Now, one of the things that we'll mention to you is that since there is a gear system in this, that it's entirely appropriate to use some white grease or something like that to just lubricate that from time to time. However, there's a trade-off with that as well. Grease tends to attract dust and dirt, and you can get a kind of a dirt ball forming there, but from time to time you can wipe that off, apply new grease, and that'll help this lopping shear to run smoother and longer. This lopping shear costs us about $40 all set. One last claim that is on the product card is it says that it cuts up to 2 inches in diameter. And as you can see, the bottom hook right here, when this is fully extended, a 2-inch branch indeed would fit inside of that. The reason this is shaped this way is to grasp onto the branch so it doesn't run away from you, so to speak, when you shut this in. It'll hold on to it and allow the blade to cut through it. Will it cut up to 2 inches? Absolutely. And in this shot, you'll see an older fallen branch that was quite dry being cut. And it also works really well for cutting branches that you've already lopped off and they're on the ground and you're cutting them to smaller sections. You can just step and repeat and cut along on the ground facing down this way and cutting as you go. So the 2-inch claim is a valid one, and you can really get some leverage by grasping on the handles, moving them together, even if you just have only moderate strength. So for the price, under $40, will we buy it? Yeah, we did. We think it's a good value overall. If you have a favorite lopping shear that you'd like to share with the rest of our viewer family, comment in the comments below and let everybody else know about the great experience or product that you have found. If you found this video to be helpful, won't you please like it, and better yet, subscribe to our channel. That allows us to continue to put out great product reviews, videos about the garden, the shop, and the kitchen. Hey, thanks for watching today. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay from dirtfarmerjay.com.